Speaking of knowing everything, there is someone who stated they are everything. They are the alpha and the omega in their relationship, or they expect to be the alpha and the omega. And this comes from a viral clip with Dr. Brian and Trina, where Trina was basically saying that as the partner, as the wife, she expects her husband to see her as his best friend, as his kumbaya, road dog, everything on the under the sun, and everything in between. And so, my question to you guys: can you be your partner everything? Is that actually realistic, or are we setting some unhealthy expectations here?
If you don't want to have a life at all, you can be your partner's everything. You can do it. If you don't want to be yourself, if you want to completely abdicate all personal self and preferences and desires and ambitions, and yes, you can be your partner's everything. And when they die, good luck finding out who you're supposed to be. But yeah, you can do it. It's exhausting, I think. I wouldn't recommend anybody try to do that. I think that any woman who's asking for that is selfish and insecure. And the reason why I say she's selfish and insecure, because she's going to make him suffer because she cannot give 110%, whatever that means. It's mathematically impossible. So she's going to disappoint him and she's going to make him be frustrated because she's put him in a box where he can't get out and pursue any other options and ways to make the situation work better and be more equitable. So yeah, shame on her. Boo, that's woman. Boo her. Boo.
Yeah, I think that's entirely too much pressure to put on one person. I mean, I'm not even everything at work. I mean, would you like that? Sound like it would suck, you know? My wife and I first started dating, I said, "Listen, I'm not going to be everything. If that's what you're looking for, I'm not it. That is entirely too much pressure, and I will constantly let you down. And I don't like being set up for failure. You know, I like you for you. Do what you like to do. Do your thing, and then let's involve each other in what we like. But I'm not going to be if I'm your entire source of entertainment. When does that leave any me time? I'm just constantly trying to entertain you and placate you and jump through hoops. And you know what? It's okay. Listen, I'm really into Star Trek. My wife does not know which Enterprise they're on now, who's the captain, none of that shit. And it's a big disappointment, and I feel some kind of way about it. But you know what? It's okay because that's my thing. And she has her thing. She's not my Star Trek everything, as much as I would love for her to be that, you know. And it's too much pressure. I'm not going to put that on her. I'm going to let her do her thing. And just like it's selfish, man. You just be your own thing and then come together and make it work and create something new.
I always hate people who think that life becomes so much more grand when you have to be partnered with someone else. I think there's some truth to that, but any one thing that you do too much can be problematic, whether it be your partner, relationships, church, the gym, right? Because it builds an unhealthy attachment to things. And we have to be conscious of that, right? Codependency is problematic because it leaves someone feeling less than when the other person isn't there. So when you give someone that much power and ability to say that my whole world focus is around and shaped around you, then you lose a part of yourself when that person isn't there. So the goal for me and what I tell my clients would be when you're in a relationship, coexisting is great as long as you're existing as an individual as well. You have to be able to exist before you can coexist. You want to be able to take care of yourself, self-care, and all the things that you as an individual have your own friend groups. If not, then when your husband or your wife goes out and hangs out, then you're going to have jealousy issues. You're going to have problems. So making someone your whole everything just isn't a good something to plant a seed in.
As the only person on this panel who has a song called Everything on Spotify and anywhere that you get your music from under the name Nick Nice. Not saying you should go and check it out, but this was done back in 2003. And somehow, this is even before Spotify even fucking existed, right? It's like, how did it end up there? But it's actually on there. So I can't have this conversation and then have somebody pull it up like, hey, Nick, you said, no, I'm going to come clean and be like, yo, I had a song that said, you're my everything. I adore, me more you. So many things in life that we can look forward to, right? Now, the reason why this is relevant in this conversation is because I grew up in the old school R&B era, where I guess now in retrospect, we're calling it simping music, right? Girl, lately I will cry for you, all that, right? So when you talk about people expressing their love for someone, like we used to in some of those old R&B jams, and like I did in my 2003 semi-hit single, Everything, back then. It's when I was dating my old. Anyways, the point is that, yes, I felt that way. You know what I'm saying? She was my queen. There was one like, I just want to plant my seed in your soil. Come on, man. It took 17 years for that seed to eventually be planted. But the point is, it was just an emotional expression of how we felt. So now, with that being said, now, are these ladies being for real, for real? Are they just kind of being funny? I don't know. I do agree. In the relationships where they're being serious and they feel like that's, I want to be as everything. Okay. You dig what I'm saying? That is crazy. Stop it, right? Because in truth, you can't be enough if you want to be somebody's everything. You'll never win that math. But I will say this, though. There's a lot of women who aren't doing enough. So where can we find the common ground? You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all
Do more.
ain't doing enough. And then you got some of y'all that's doing too much. Never too much, never too. No, there isn't too much, man. So, yes, can y'all find some middle ground to where it's like, because I don't know, if I had to pick between you don't do enough and you're doing too much, where's the best rose for your needle? It's never too much, never too much, never too much. So, I'm just saying, I get y'all. I feel like y'all taking it too literal. There is an expression, hey, you're my everything when it comes to the corner of my heart in this moment in our relationship. I could be outside and you might not be as everything as you were when I was there with you. Come on, man. Stop.
So I actually hated that phrase, by the way. You're my everything. I hated hearing it. I hated reading it because it didn't make sense to me. So how can someone be your everything when you're basically asking that person to not, you're basically diminishing yourself, right? To be that person, everything, to represent that everything to me. And so I feel that it is unrealistic because at the end of the day, it's an unhealthy boundary and it is rooted in insecurities to me. And I say this because when I initially got married a long, long, long time ago, that was a phrase that was used and I had to understand it because I didn't understand the phrase. Like I knew what it meant holistically. I understood what it was supposed to represent, but I didn't see how we can apply it to our relationship because I had my friends, he had his friends, I had my interests, he had his interests, and none of that, and some of it didn't actually align. And so am I supposed to sit there while you play Madden because I'm your everything? So I'm going to sit there and root for you, or am I going to go do my own thing while you play Madden, right? And so just like I love anime. Is he gonna sit here and watch some anime with me? Hell no. Because he don't even understand why I like anime. So it's one of those situations where you can't be somebody everything because your interests don't align. And if you act like your interests align to that 100% where everything, then you're literally just a mimic. You're literally just a shadow. And to Jay's point, then who are you if that person is no longer with you? And then you have to go through this whole mission of finding yourself. And I just think that's somewhat creepy to me where you want to be the person alpha and their omega, their beginning and their end and everything in between. I just think that's creepy because who the hell are you and where the hell is your life? And if you don't have a life, then I suggest you go get a life because when that person decides that you ain't his everything, then he gonna leave you and you're gonna be sitting there crying because you was like, but I was his everything. I thought I was his everything. And so I'm just gonna say hard pass on the everything. And I think that for her to go through a list, because she also just talked about being even his daddy. And so, maybe happy Mother's Day to her too, because maybe that's his mama too at this point, because if she's everything, that means she's trying to fulfill all the roles that exist in a relationship. You know how back in the day, and I'll land here, they used to say for women in particular, you have your best friend, but then you have a male gay best friend sometimes because that male gay best friend, and then you have, well, you know what? I take that back. It actually wasn't best friend. It was gay male friend, followed by the dude you effing, followed by the dude you eating and gaming for money and so forth, because one guy could not be your everything. I'm not encouraging that in any shape, way, or form, but I just noticed that if you couldn't find that in your relationship, then how the hell you expect to be the same thing for this dude? So I don't know.
I mean, listen, I think you guys make some great points, right? And those are certainly red flags. But before I'll go segue to the next story. I just wanted to say this real quickly. Like, I won't do that. Most of y'all won't do it. But if somebody else wants to do it, You know what I'm saying? That could be kind of attractive a little bit. That's not my business. If you want to dedicate your life to me, all right, cool. I ain't making no
Stalker.
promises. I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
Until you can't go to the store and she
Man.
calling you 36 times, leaving you 12 voice messages
mean-
and sending
I
a
mean,
smoke signal up
that's a
looking
little
for
Do you
your
spend
extreme,
ass.
but
too long
I'm
in the
just
bathroom?
saying. I'm just saying. If you want to go to the store with me,
So you spent too long in the bathroom. What are you
right, you're right.
doing?
So maybe that's a red flag.